Section 3, Chapter 2 begins. We're going to talk about how to divide polynomials. We'll do that with two different methods. The first one's going to be long division. This is going to be very similar to what you've done in elementary and middle school with dividing numbers, except now it's going to be functions. So we're going to divide these two functions, and I lay it out as it looks here. I'm going to divide by x minus 3 into x cubed plus 2x squared minus 16x plus 3. The way we do this is we take the lead term here, and I'm going to divide that into the lead term here. Well, x times x squared would give me x cubed, so I'm going to put x squared up here. Now I'm going to take that x squared and I'm going to multiply it times this entire thing, distributing x squared times x squared times negative 3. We're going to subtract this whole thing. So I put parentheses around there. I can't emphasize enough the importance to put parentheses there because you have to subtract both of them. The lead term will cancel. When I distribute, this will turn into a plus, making this a 5x squared. I'm going to bring down the next term minus 16x. I'm going to do the same thing again. Lead term here into this term. So this time it's going to go 5x times. 5x times this is going to give me 5x squared minus 15x. And we're going to subtract this again. The 5x squareds disappear. This becomes plus 15x. And I get minus x. Bring down the plus 3. X times negative 1. So negative 1 times this is going to give me negative x and plus 3. And when I subtract that, I have the same thing, and it's going to become 0. That means 0 remainder, meaning in other words, x minus 3 is a factor of this. Or I could say x minus 3 times this up here gives me this. Like all three of those are true. But as far as the division goes, this is my answer. So I want to look at a couple examples here with you. Feel free to return to this point in the video to look at this as many times as you need. Here's one for you to try by yourself. I've got it set up. You can pause the video if you like and then resume it once you're done to see if you've done it correctly. How we'll do this one is we're going to say x times 2x squared is going to give me 2x cubed. So I multiply 2x squared times x minus 5. I get 2x cubed minus 10x squared. Let me subtract that. This becomes plus, this cancels, becomes plus, so I'm going to end up with 5x squared when I add above. And I bring down what's next, minus 28x. Okay. X now into 5x squared goes 5x times, so I say plus 5x. 5x times x minus 5 gives me 5x squared minus 25x. And that's going to get subtracted. 5x squareds cancel. This becomes positive 25x, so I get minus 3x. Bring down the plus 15. One more time, x times negative 3. Negative 3 times x minus 5 is going to give me negative 3x plus 15. You notice that's the same thing, so when I subtract it, both of those cancel out. I have 0 remainder, and this is what I get when I divide. Okay. This one has a remainder. So I wanted to show you what that looks like. So the same process, again, feel free to pause. 2x times 4x will give me 8x squared. 4x times 8 is 32x. And we subtract that. These cancel. This becomes negative 32. Make sure I did that right here. 2x times, okay, that does look right. So we will Continue on here. When we subtract these cancel, I get negative 32x plus 4. That's negative 28x. Bring down the minus 1. 2x times negative 14 will give me negative 28x. So I'm multiplying back, and then negative 14 times the 8. We multiply by the 8, we're going to get, what's that, negative 112. Here's my cursor here. And that's going to get subtracted. The negative 28s are negative 28x's are going to cancel. This is going to become positive 112, so adding to make 111. That's my remainder. So I'm going to write that as plus 111 divided by 2x plus 8. As far as division goes, that's my solution. We put our remainder over what we're dividing by out in front. I just want to point out that this also implies that since I'm taking, let me write this over here, 8x squared plus 4x minus 1 got divided by 2x plus 8. And what we got as an answer was 4x minus 14 plus the 111 over 2x plus 8. Well, if I rearrange this by multiplying both sides of this equation times, let's put it in color we haven't seen here in a bit, so it'll contrast. We're going to take both sides of this, and we're going to multiply both sides times the 2x plus 8. And the same thing over here, I'll write it. What that's going to give us is another way of thinking about this. We're going to get on the left side 8x squared plus 4x minus 1. On the right side, we're going to get the 4x minus 14 multiplied times the 2x plus 8. And then plus, and this is going to cancel out, I'm going to have just 11 there. So depending on what you're trying to do, if you're just dividing, you're going to leave it like this. But if you're actually looking for factors, you're going to think about it the way that we have it over here. Mostly we'll be doing this up here, but if you wanted an example, the book has an example of this, and you'll find that on page 113 called the division algorithm. So I encourage you to look at that. This one's slightly different here. This time we're dividing into something that does not have, it starts with an x to the fourth, but it doesn't have an x to the third term, and then it does have an x squared. When something like that happens, we have to make sure that we fill in with 0 coefficients for the missing exponents. So once you've done that, this problem will work out the same. So we'll go ahead and do that. Pause it if you want and see if it works out correctly here for you. Multiply x times that to give me negative 4x to the fourth. Now I'm going to take this times both things out in front again. Negative 4x to the fourth, and that would give me minus 12x cubed, which gets subtracted. These cancel. This becomes plus 12x cubed, and I bring down the plus 36x squared. Do it again. X times 12x squared, and 12x squared times this stuff would give me 12x cubed plus 36x squared. You'll notice these are the same things. Subtract, these all both cancel. I get 0, which means that x plus 3 is a factor. And when I divide, I get this. So just a reminder, this is also the same thing as saying that x plus 3 times negative 4x cubed plus 12x squared will equal negative 4x to the fourth plus 36x squared. Synthetic division is another way to do this division. This only works when we're dividing by x plus or x minus a number. The number we're subtracting by is going to get written inside of a box. A lot of people just think of this as, if it says minus 3, I put plus 3. If it says plus 3 over here, I put minus 3. Now we're going to divide without using the variables. All we're going to use is the coefficients, 1, 2, negative 16, and 3. Those numbers are going to get written here. When we do this, here's the process. We put a line, we leave space here. Whatever number's here comes straight down. Now I take the number in the box times that number and I write it here. That's 3. Now I add. I get 5. I do the same thing again. The number in the box times this is 15. And I add with the number above it, I get negative 1. Times the number in the box gives me negative 3. And I add here, I get 0. The last number we end up with is your remainder. This is a remainder 0, so that means that x minus 3 is a factor of this. Now, going backwards, this is the constant, this is the x, this is the x squared. So I have x squared plus 5x minus 1 as my answer. That's what I get when I divide these two functions. I'll have you guys try that here. I'll let you pause if you like and see if you can set this up right, and then resume the video. The number in the box should be a 5 because it's x minus 5. Take the opposite. And then the third, second, first, and 0 powers coefficients, 2, negative 5, negative 28, and 15. And here's the process. We bring that down, we multiply, we add. We multiply, and we add. We multiply, and we add. That's our remainder. Constant x, x squared, so that's 2x squared plus 5x minus 3. Now I did use this one, I think I did this problem before. Let's see. Yeah, this previous one was the same as the first problem we did back here at the beginning. We got the same answer, x squared plus 5x minus 1, wherever that is. There it is. And the next one we did, I believe this is the second problem we did. I'll go back to that and show that we got 2x squared plus 5x minus 3. 2x squared plus 5x minus 3. Only here we did it with long division. And up here, wherever it is, we did it with synthetic division. So this is a good place to stop. We're going to resume in another video here. There's a lot to say about this section, so I will start another video here momentarily.